Hello and welcome to Soul Team Coaching #1. It's so exciting to be here with you. This is quite a big step for me, and been wanting to find out. I'm Adrienne Elise. I've been wanting to find out the best way to work with people to create a community based around the spiritual growth, the processes of ascension, our changes, shifts and changes that we're all going through. And so I have developed this program. It's called Soul Team Coaching. And what it is two, just like this, live interactive video calls. There's 2 ways to share on these calls. There's a chat room, and also you can actually come in to the hangout and share your story and ask your questions. So I'm really excited about this platform to work with so that we can empower each other to move forward in our lives in the way we really want to. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. I'm Adrienne Elise, and I am an intuitive healer and teacher. I live in Missoula, Montana, and I have had many years, 20 years, I've been searching and looking for information, tools, techniques to help people in their journey, to help myself to understand what's going on in this wild world that we live in. And so it all started for me when I trained to be a Waldorf teacher. And the Waldorf training is based on the work of Rudolf Steiner, who is a clairvoyant and intuitive who brought amazing work 100 years ago. And so I draw a lot on Rudolf Steiner in my studies and what I bring to Soul Team Coaching as well. Later, I trained to become a classical homeopath, and so this is a very powerful, potent form of alternative medicine. But in order for me to do this role, this path, this helping people with their illnesses, when I sat down to work with people, I realized that I didn't have the boundaries I needed. I felt like I could feel everything that the person felt that had come to me for help. And so I said, I don't know if I can do this job. I just did all this training to be a classical homeopath, but I'm too sensitive. And so I started taking psychic, clairvoyant, intuitive classes. And these classes are designed to help you own your psychic space, understand the energies you're working with, be able to receive information on a clear path, to be able to do energy healing for yourself and others. Very powerful tools for this new age. Everything that we're working on is based on the activation of the pineal gland. And so the intuitive training is key for that. So I bring a lot of the elements of the intuitive training into the Soul Team Coaching as we have these simple tools that we can draw on to be able to support ourselves in this process. And a lot of those tools will come forward in the guided meditation. So the way these calls are going to work is that first, we're going to have a little introduction, just like we're doing now, move into a short grounding where we can really come in to the energy of the moment, to connect with the others on the call, those who maybe can't make the live call but are part of our group with their intention. And this is really powerful. So all of these calls are going to be recorded so that you can access them later and re-listen to them, redo the meditations during the 2 classes, in between the calls. Very powerful. And that's where these intuitive techniques and imagery techniques will come in, and you'll be able to work with those more. So first of all, a little grounding meditation, and then moving into talking about what's going on in the stars. I also study astrology, and I do monthly YouTube reports on what's going on in the stars and how that affects our personal growth and the collective energies that are going on the planet. So we're going to talk about that. Now, the cool part of this content part is that it is live, because what I do is a long time ago, my guides and my teachers told me that I had to let go of the notes. And so I used to be a very, of course, organized person when I teach my classes, and I'd have a bullet list of everything we were going to say and talk about. And time and time again, I got the message to just let it go, and to let the intuitive, what wants to be said in just the right way that the people are listening can receive. And so it's very powerful. And so even if you can't make the live call, your intention to be a part of this group allows your concerns, what you're working on, your energy field, and in your process to be heard and to be addressed. And so it's a really, really a cool thing. And so that's the time when that's going to happen. And then that's going to be augmented by sharing and questions. It's really cool because we have the chat room going here, and we can go ahead and interact with the live chat together and talk about what we think about what's going on. How is this affecting us? What has our 2 weeks since we connected last been like? And specific questions for me, for the group, to find the support that you need in your specific situation. And so then we will finish up the call with a little bit of a longer guided meditation, and that's one that you can really gain a lot from coming back and listening to again. And so this will be when we move into an activation. It's a guided meditation. A lot of people go very deep, might even fall asleep, which is totally acceptable. You still get the information, whatever level of consciousness you can receive it on, it still comes in. And so, but this is a time to reset, refigure our energy field, to realign is really powerful, because many of you have been working with my free activation calls that happen on the new and the full moon. And so it's a similar format, but not interactive and not in an intimate group like this. So I'm really excited to take this up a notch and start really working together, coming together with like-minded people and working on supporting each other and really being present in this time, in this amazing time that we live in. And we're going to talk way more about that and why that's going on. And also this energy is about allowing us to come into vibrational frequency with the timelines. And so when we do the activations, and those full moon and new moon activations kind of lining up exactly when the moon is new and full kind of allows us to reset back into the rhythms of the earth. So these coaching calls are going to be happening on the first and last quarter moon. So it's a perfect complement. And I would highly suggest working with the activation calls. And of course, those are also available on a replay as well. And again, when you put your intention in, it's like, wow, I'm in this process and I feel the energy of this new moon or this full moon, and what's this about? And then you can kind of access that and tap in to the just kind of becoming present with what's happening on the planet, what's happening within the individual, what's happening in the collective, sort out your energy field, clean your space, and come into alignment with that truth of who you really are. So this is really the point of Soul Team Coaching. It's a group of us coming together who really want to actualize into who we really are. And a lot of us don't really know even what that is. We feel called to be on this path of spiritual growth, but we are not actualizing into that. So a lot of people are feeling the time is now, and it is clear that there's a massive shift going on in our world, in the stars, and in the age, a shift of ages. And we can feel these changes happening. But on the other hand, the structures of our life and the structures of society seem to be really having a strong hold on keeping things the same. And so if in a nutshell, you put this time that we live in into a little nutshell phrase, it would be about that. It would be about radical changes trying to happen, and the system, the present, the way things have been going, that the already established means of conformity and the way we do things, the systems that are old and dinosaur systems, but they're still resistant to this change. And so that's really what has been demonstrated by this Pluto-Uranus square. And the Pluto-Uranus square has been going on since 2010. Really, these planets were starting to come in together into the square. So it's been quite a journey. And these planets are just separating. Just right now, this week is on the 25th, yesterday, is when these planets actually moved out of this square, very, very intense square, moved out of the 6-degree orb of this square. And so this is a perfect time to start this kind of a thing. And this is ongoing coaching calls. You can join when it works for you, although I think the most desired benefit will come from an ongoing commitment. So you can sign up to a monthly membership. It's $20 a month. Or you can also just sign up each time for $10 for this video, just like this, a video call. And I'm here, I'm going to be here on these first and last quarter moons, ready to take your questions, ready to support you in your journey. And there's a lot of cool things on this where we can interact. You can come on the video in Google Hangout and ask for questions so everyone can see you and everyone can be a part of that experience and answer. And there's surveys and polls. And so we're going to be able to really interact with these topics. And the cool thing about Soul Team Coaching, all the other classes that I teach are based on a certain curriculum and something that I'm following, something agenda. Soul Team Coaching is about you. It's about meeting the needs that you need and the people that are drawn to come together to work together. So that's one of the main points of Soul Team Coaching and why it's called that. What is Soul Team Coaching? Who is my soul team? Who are these people? Well, your soul team are people that show up in your life and you may not know them yet, but you feel like you've known them for a really long time. And these are people that are showing up right now as people are going through so many shifts and changes. A lot of times we want to have these people, these business partners, these soul partners, these intimate partners, these friends that are like, yes, we're doing this. This is so exciting. We're going to help each other move forward in our life. We're going to help each other live the life of our dreams. We're going to support each other in being our most brilliant selves. That's your soul team. And we want these things, but what seems to be going on is there's a lot of energy for these people to come together and find each other, but we have to become vibrationally in alignment with the concept of this team. We have to come in vibration alignment with these people that are out there waiting to meet us, wanting to know, wanting to have the support we can offer, wanting to support us, and to hold each other as we go through this powerful, amazing time. Your soul team has pieces of the puzzle that you're working on. And so those pieces clarify what your piece is, and they also validate your path and help you feel like you know what you're doing, you're on the right track, you're moving forward. And kind of sometimes the way light workers throughout time history have been persecuted to where they're separate. It's not okay, it's not safe to work together. But really right now in this time that we come back together and become strong, work as a group. And this is another point of the soul. People come together with a very strong shared intention. I just mentioned of this group. Be ultimately move into our potential life of our dreams, on our path. Many people put that in different ways. There's a lot of different ways to put that, but this is a life fulfillment. Desire set the path toward life fulfillment, and then having that team, that group of people, attention of reaching out to the soul and allowing them. The purpose of these calls is those two things: is to support spirit and to find call to yourself group. And so it's going to be quite an amazing journey, and I cannot wait to see what our focused energy does, because when we come together and we focus on the needs of the group, the process of the group, and that is going to also affect the collective energies. And so when we come together, we are exponentially powerful. And so this is one of the reasons that Soul Team Coaching has come to be, because it represents a model, a way for us to come together and have a shared experience, to have the synchronicities of similar things happening to all of us as we go on our path, and sharing synchronicities, sharing the potential possibilities ahead of life. And basically, I want to know what's deeper energies behind the time we're in right now, as well as the point in the process of this Soul Team Coaching. So who should be a part of Soul Team Coaching? We talked about people who are on path, wanting support for their growth process, wanting to have the life of their dreams, wanting to actualize. They are looking for support for this. They're looking for their people. And so these are the people that can really benefit from Soul Team Coaching. And the other thing we talked about is being in touch with the energies on the planet, coming together in a crucial moment and being like, okay, here we have arrived. And part of the stress of modern time, the busyness, the schedule, this is all a distraction to keep us from accessing our spiritual intuitive power. And so it's really important to be able to learn to shut down your nervous system, to come home to yourself, to be present in the present moment. These meditations are powerful, amazing meditations for that. People who work with these type of deep level guided meditations find that it's easier and easier to access these deep levels of peace within themselves on their own. And so basically, when we talk the planets, I wanted to talk a little bit about how I came into the astrology part of it, because this is kind of an intro doing a couple of years ago. 2012 really spurred my interest, and I started looking at the stars in the sky. I had studied astrology when I was in my 20s, and really kind of enjoyed doing charts a little bit, and I didn't get too in depth with it until I started working with the 2012 astrology and seeing the planets started to tell a story and to make a dance. And I was kind of watching this dance and started sharing it with people. And I started doing the videos. And now I do a blog article as well as a video each month. And so, but this information, when we watch the stars dance across the sky, like what's happening right now, such potent energy. And I'm just so excited to have you with me to experience this amazing time right now. Here we are at first quarter into the grade. It's got another 2 weeks in retrograde, and so we're getting deep into this retrograde. And the interesting thing this time is that Mercury and Mars and the Sun are together in Gemini. Has been in this last week all together. Asteroids right there in Gemini, stuff going on in the sky, but feeling this Mercury retrograde as a time. Mercury is gatherer of information, the messenger. We have to, Mercury, and especially in its home sign of Gemini, needs to rethink and reanalyze and wait a minute, hold on, I'm not quite sure I understand. So this is the energy. But Mars is our main action planet, and Mars doesn't have a retrograde this year. And so it's just like full steam ahead. And so these planets together is just really mixed. And the frustrating part of this Mercury retrograde is going to come from wanting to move forward but not feeling like you're quite ready or have the right information. The other thing, though, is that it's kind of cool about this Mars and Mercury kind of collusion going on is that Mars is a fighter. Mars has action and power. And so when it's in a Mercury retrograde, it is what is going a demand for. We're kind of at this place in our evolution, really, is where the amount of in this next year or two is crucial for the truth that's able to come forward. How the years and 100 years the planet goes. It's really important that we wake up to the truth of our race, our humanity. Where did we come from? And also the history and the story and the truth behind everything else that's out there besides Earth. We've been trained and programmed and educated to think that we are just, it's just us, and we're just here, we're just in this skin, and we're having having this separate experience, and there's nothing else out there. We're just floating around with a bunch of other stars, that there's no other life. And it's a big lie, and it's time to come forward with the truth about what's really out there. So this is a big quest right now, a big desire. There's a growing desire of the people to know the truth of what's really going on, the truth of who's running our government, the truth of the financial, the truth of how we have been manipulated and deceived over and over and over again. So it's a really interesting time here as we are in this Mercury retrograde with this uncomfortable Mars and this desire to know. Now, Venus is also during this whole thing, because Venus is opposing Pluto. And Pluto is this, Pluto and Uranus have been in this square, but Pluto is the destroyer. Pluto is death and rebirth, and just breaking down, dissolution of things in the sign of structures and authority in Capricorn. So doesn't that make sense? It's time, people. It's time to review, whether or not we want to stay slaves to a tyrannical government, to a tyrannical secret government, and financial system. So we're really yesterday they moved out of that original, so there's still 6-degree orb. And now it's interesting because we have that Pluto Uranus square, and we talked about how Venus is the last trigger of this square, and Venus is opposing the cat. And Cancer, though, brings a very feminine, nurturing, harmonious energy. It really wants harmony. Venus wants harmony, especially in Cancer, the sign of security and home. And so that harmonizing force, but it's opposing that, breakdown, in the structures, systems are not working. We've got to find a new way. But Venus is so this is a beautiful picture for the very last trigger of this Pluto-Uranus square, for these planets to just come together, to come in that opposition, but it's a harmonious energy of let's nurture ourselves, let's do this, let's make these changes and try to love ourselves through it. It's about security. It's